Last week, we spoke with Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts about the Nebraska Livestock Friendly County Program and how it supports livestock-producing counties. This week, Ag Promotion Coordinator Steve Martin from the Nebraska Department of Agriculture joins us to discuss the Nebraska Livestock Matrix, a simple tool used by county officials to help determine whether or not to approve a permit or application for a livestock producer. Steve explained how the matrix came about, as well as how it will benefit both producers and counties alike.
The livestock siting matrix is really just a score sheet, but as you work through it, it's just a series of questions, and it's either yes or no. Will you be implementing a certain practice, yes or no? And there's a certain set of points that go with each answer. The first section that's scored is DEQ approval. If you don't have DEQ approval, then it's going to stop right there. So that's a big section. That's a 30-point section. The next one is county approval, and that's meeting setback distances. That's the main criteria in that section. So if you meet the separation distance that the county requires you to be from your nearest neighbor, then you get the 30 points in that one. So that'll get you to 60 points. From there, you've got 15 points to make up by showing the types of practices that you're going to utilize in your operation. There's 10 other sections that deal with environmental, water protection, aesthetics of the building and the grounds, and just other environmental controls that a producer could put into place and score those extra 15 points. And ultimately, it leads to a score. In the case of our matrix, 75 points is a passing score, above 75 points. And so when a producer scores themselves, turns that into the county can see, and the producer can see, if they're above 75 points, they should have all of their ducks in a row, and they should be something that can be approved.
And this was an interesting group of people who came up with this matrix, and I mean, it had people in the ag business, it had some county officials.
Yeah, the legislature, LB 106, which was passed in 2015, directed the Director of Agriculture to put together a panel, and that panel included experts from UNL, county officials, ag producers, and a few others that were really experts in that field of the construction, building, management of livestock facilities. The matrix itself came about from a working group that was sponsored and hosted by NACO, which is the Nebraska Association of County Officials, in 2014. And they came together as a group of county officials. They brought in some livestock producers, they brought in Department of Agriculture, and some others to talk about the fact that we have 93 counties in the state, and with local control, all of those counties get to implement their own regulations. So you kind of create this set of 93 different regulations, which can be cumbersome, can be inconsistent, everybody's doing things different. So the question on the table was, what can we do as a group of counties to protect our local decision making, but add some consistency to this process? And what they came up with was this recommendation for a matrix type score sheet where a producer still has to meet state requirements through DEQ, still have to meet county requirements through setbacks and other items like that. But then there's also other information in there about what their project is, how they'll manage it, how it'll be run, that adds some additional information as they go through that county process.
And one of the interesting things is, as counties are now starting to adopt this, counties really have some opportunities to make it their own, do they not?
They do. The legislature, when they passed this, made it a voluntary program, which also allowed for some flexibility. Each county can look at what we've developed through the Department of Ag, and then they can adjust it based on the nature of the county and the goals that they have. So, for instance, Hull County recently adopted the matrix as part of their application process. And when they did it, they changed the scoring just a little bit because they wanted to put more emphasis on some of those management things and less emphasis on meeting setback distances. So that's fine with us. The producers, again, they know what their criteria are, and as they're thinking about a project, they know what they need to do to meet those criteria.
So if a producer is interested in making some changes and would like to follow this matrix, what would they do?
Well, it depends on where they're located, but typically the first step for a producer is to contact their county zoning administrator and talk to them about what the process is in their county. If the county doesn't require the matrix to be turned in, the producer can still turn it in as a supplemental form in their application, in which case they can contact us. The matrix is on the website, Department of Ag website. They can download it, score it, and turn that in as part of their packet of information.